Hi there, I am Jennifer Elizabeth Masters. I am a master coach of transformation for coaches and healers, helping you have the life and business of your dreams. You know, I've coached thousands of people, and the interesting thing that they all have in common is the focus on the problem. And like Captain Jack Sparrow said in one of his wonderful movies, Johnny Depp, is the problem's not the problem. It's your perception of the problem. It's your focus on the problem. And so, like Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem with the same thought process or mindset that created it. Now, what does that mean? Well, you can't solve business problems by focusing on the problem. You have to find a solution. So you put the problem behind you and focus on a way, an alternative way of looking at things. Let's focus on how could I possibly solve this financial issue I have? So most people focus on not having money. I don't have the money. I don't have the VA. It's the opposite. It's how could I have the money? How could I possibly get a great VA? What could I do or think differently so that I could have a different outcome? Another thing, aging. Let's look at that one. You know, we're all getting older. Every day we get a little older. So focusing on, oh, I'm old is only going to make you look, feel, and maybe even smell old. And nobody wants that, right? So how can I look ageless? How could I seem like I am youthful? How could I focus on joy and love and happiness so that I feel differently about me? How could I see the problem with different eyes? So the problem's not the problem. We all have challenges. We're all going to have problems, but it isn't like, okay, let's look at marriage, for example. That's one that I've got lots of experience with. So when we focus on what a dirtbag our husband is, if we focus on the fact that he's not taking the trash out, or why isn't he doing what I ask him to do, or why is he not making the bed, instead, why not find a way to appreciate how wonderful our partner is, look at them with fresh eyes, a different perspective, instead of focusing on what's missing. When we focus on what's missing, we make it bigger. We make mountains out of molehills, and I'm living in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. So talk about making mountains out of molehills. I know all about this. So when we focus on the problem, we're giving it energy. If we are having challenges with communication, maybe look inside. What is it that I need to look at differently? How do I need to see myself from a different perspective? How could I give myself more compassion so I'd have more compassion for the other person? Seeing things with different eyes, fresh eyes. Does that make sense? Is that helpful? Okay, so the problem's not the problem. It's our perception of, it's our focus on. So let's just say it's a money issue. And if you continue to say, I don't have, which I don't even like to say because it creates the not having, or when is that check going to arrive? When we keep focusing on when it's going to arrive, we're in lack. We want to be in abundance. It's where we live and breathe, but the mindset needs to change. I live in an abundant universe. Money is always available. I know the money's there. It will be here as soon as I look a different way. Or I am abundant. The universe supports me. I love myself. How could it be? How could I easily and effortlessly have the money to solve this issue? How could I easily and effortlessly get the right facts to be able to communicate more clearly? So if we ask a question as opposed to focusing on the lack, we have a different focus. Looking for the solution as opposed to focusing on the problem. What does that do? It makes mountains, remember Colorado Rockies? It makes mountains out of molehills, and we don't want to do that. Okay, everybody, so remember, the problem's not the problem, it's our focus on it. We have to have a different perspective, fresh eyes, look in a different direction, find the solution. So, for example, let's just say you're an artist and maybe nobody's bought your artwork. Rather than asking, well, why hasn't anybody bought my artwork? How could I find myself running out of supplies of artwork because so many people are buying it? How could it be that I have a rush this week and people are buying my artwork like crazy? Looking at the solution instead of the problem, right? Okay. Good job, everybody. So remember, fresh eyes, focus on the solution, the direction you want to go, as opposed to the problem, which you want to put behind you. And then it becomes smaller and not your focus. Remember, like in Toy Story, I love that little guy, the Slinky dog. It reminds me of my little Yoda. So when you give energy to something, it grows. So we don't want the problem to grow. Focusing on it, it makes mountains out of molehills. Instead, focus on the solution, the direction you are headed. I'm Jennifer Elizabeth Masters. Thanks for watching. I love you. Have a beautiful rest of your day.